Hello and welcome back for another episode of a Runnin Thought podcast coming to you from on top of a volcano in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I think I finally halfway got that right. Um, Hopefully, this podcast doesn't sound too weird. I'm using a different setting in GarageBand, tube vocal. Um, I thought I would change it up a little bit. I used to have a tube amp when I was in high school. It was a Crate Vintage 50 series, and it had real tubes inside of it. It wasn't a modeling amp or a emulator. It was 100% real tube. So I thought I would use the tube vocal setting and see how that goes. I don't really listen to these. I just talk. I used to listen to them, but now I just talk, and then that's it. You guys listen to them, all six of you. But anyways, yeah, welcome back for another episode. I've been able to do these a little more frequently. Even though I'm busier now than I used to be, I don't spend quite as much time driving back and forth to work, and so I'm super happy about that. Working from home is definitely an awesome thing. But anyways, so it's been a pretty good week, and hopefully your week has been good as well. I actually worked all day today. But I had yesterday off, and hopefully you did too. And if you didn't, then I'm sorry. But you'll get another day off another time, I'm sure. I hope everybody had a nice holiday. And then also, I didn't just say that to be a jerk. I actually had to, I'm a W-2 worker, but I'm contracted through my company that has me as a W-2 worker. So I actually had to work 40 hours this week to make up for the day that I took off yesterday. And so I'm not trying to be a jerk when I said that you'll get a holiday another day. Okay? Sorry. I shouldn't have been so insensitive. Anyways, other than the Thanksgiving holiday, the rest of the week's been pretty good for me too, and I hope it's been good for you. I've gotten to do a little more running than I had been doing, like the previous last few weeks. So that was good. Mostly I've been down at Bayfront in Hilo, and I'm happy to report that the Bayfront no longer smells like stale urine. It's free and clear of all unpleasant odors, at least as of today. And it was nice yesterday, and I believe the day before, the last time that I was out there. I didn't go out there yesterday. I actually ran Beach Road. I had to do like a real quick one because I got up at around 4 a.m. to start smoking the turkey on the grill. So everything that I made for Thanksgiving this year, made it outside. So on the grill or inside of the Dutch oven, or I've got a clay pot that I use to make kimchi in sometimes, or I did make kimchi in it a couple times. But it's also a cooking pot, so you can actually cook on the thing. It's ceramic. So I cooked yams inside of that thing. Pretty cool. But anyways, it took a while to cook stuff on open fire and to smoke the turkey on the grill. It took a little while to get it up to the right temperature. So as soon as I got done with that, I had to rush off down to Beach Road, go for a run, kind of bite my fingernails a little bit. Usually bad things don't happen in HPP, but I've gotten lucky once down in Hawaiian beaches, and so there's no guarantee that I won't get lucky twice. So I always am nervous about leaving my truck sort of down by the shore and going running down there. The running part doesn't scare me so much as just leaving my truck, because that super sucked. Having to repair all that, even though insurance took care of it, but it was I still had to pay some stuff out of pocket, of course, like the deductible, and I really could have used that $500 for something else, especially because when that happened, I had no job, but thankfully, very thankfully, now I'm back at work, and yeah, very scared of leaving my truck anywhere, because to be honest, I really don't want to pay another deductible or go through that experience again. But enough about me. I always change things into a conversation about me. Let's talk about running. So a couple things. I mentioned Bayfront, and if you follow my Strava, which nobody does, I don't think anybody like legitimately follows another person's Strava to the point that they know each activity that somebody does. But if you happen to glance at it, then you would notice that I did wear my mask as promised on my runs along Bayfront. And I found some interesting things out as far as mask wearing goes. And they're not all cynical, snarky comments about wearing a mask. I actually found some interesting things. And so I will go into that in a minute. I wanted to talk about something else too. Oh, yeah. So I totally, up to this time, I've never thought of this. I don't know why. Because one of the things that I'm always wondering, and I'm always too lazy to just continuously look up, is, hey, what races are coming up on Big Island, right? And so Ultra Sign Up is a great resource if you're not familiar for trail races, ultra marathons, shorter distances. Ultra Sign Up is great. ultrasignup.com, just like it is normally spelled. It's just all one big word, ultrasignup.com. I'm saying this in case you've never heard of it. Most people that are into running trail races or into running ultras already know this, and so for you guys, you can just do something else while I'm talking about Ultra Sign Up. But one of the things I thought that I could do, since I'm always nagging about how I wish that I could make this podcast more valuable to listeners, instead of just a bunch of me talking about miscellaneous stuff. One of the things that I definitely could do is just kind of let you, the listener, kill two birds with one stone, not have to go through all of that effort to navigate to ultrasignup.com and then put in your filters and look. Sorry, I just got a text. A friend in need needs me right now. Not for anything like super urgent, but I'm gonna put this on pause actually, and I'll come right back because I'm gonna help this dude out. And well, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna put it on pause because I had a bad experience with that one time. So now I don't edit these at all. I just keep going and going and going. So actually what I'm going to do is right now, while I'm doing this podcast, I'm going to attempt to multitask. And he just, he needs my address to use me as a reference. It's a buddy of mine that I worked with, a super nice guy. He actually helped me when I was doing the Hilo de Volcano one year. He was kind of like my one-man crew, and he mixed all my Scratch and Gatorade and handed me beef jerky, because at the time that was my strategy. I was actually doing a little test with Scratch versus beef jerky. I mean, not Scratch versus Gatorade, and then I was only doing like I was only eating beef jerky. Like I wasn't doing any like Cliff Bar or goo. Sorry, I'm trying. I'm trying to type my address and also think about my good friend Matt helping me. So I really hope I gave him the right address. Anyways, so that's all done. Yeah, but anyway, Matt helped me a bunch of times. Matt's awesome. He's a cool guy. And so just that help with that particular ultra, it was excellent. Actually, if you want to know, I think I've said this before on the podcast, Gatorade, like one thumb down, not two thumbs down, but definitely one thumb down. Scratch, two thumbs up, and also one toe. So two thumbs, one toe up for Scratch, and then one thumb down for Gatorade. And so I hope that makes sense to you. Basically, what I noticed with the Gatorade is that I got a serious sugar crash after drinking it. And then, yeah, so now I knew this was going to happen. He is asking me, if it's my mailing address. Addresses are confusing if you're not from Hawaii and don't know about the mail situation here. I will enlighten you. So because most areas are so rural, and it would be like not that cost effective or safe really to have a mail carrier go to like all the areas. What will happen, and then also too, because some places just plain out don't have mailboxes. So what happens most of the time on Big Island, at least on the windward side, which is the side that faces California, more or less. If you don't have a mailbox, then you go to like a private mailbox, or you get on a waiting list for like several years to get a post office box. To me, like I would rather pay for the private mailbox, because with the post office box, you're still like you're still having to follow the post office schedule. So their schedule is not as liberal as the private mailbox, or at least that's been my experience. And plus, there's always like a line out the door at the post office. Sorry, post office. I love you, post office, but I just don't want to have to deal with you every single day to get my mail. Anyways, I digress. So, yeah, Ultra sign up. Don't even bother checking. Just listen to my podcast. I'm going to tell you everything that's on Ultra sign up for the Big Island, and I'm going to do that every time I do one of these podcasts. The only problem is every time I do one of these podcasts isn't that uniform, or the frequency is scattered. So sometimes I'll do one of these pretty frequently, and then sometimes there'll be long gaps. And so hopefully I can keep this up frequently enough to where this part will be useful. But anyways, so I'm on Ultra Sign Up right now, and I've set all of my filters to show me things within 300 miles of my zip code, which if you're familiar with Big Island, that's probably going to cover everything on Big Island and probably some stuff on Maui. I don't know. But anyways, so what's coming up for Big Island? Well, on Saturday, November 28th, which is tomorrow, I do believe, there is the Bacoa Combo Platter, which is going to be in Ninole, and that's 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers, and a 16 miler. Also, there are 2 really long ultra marathons. Go Big, and that is based in Hilo, but I don't know where the race actually starts. It may start in Hilo, not sure. But there's the Go Big 260 miler, which the date says Saturday, December 26, 2020. But I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, the 260 miler may actually start on Monday. But don't quote me on that. If you're at all interested in that, I'm sure you probably already know the answer to this, and you also don't listen to this podcast. so yeah. The Go Big 100 miler also says Saturday, December 26, 2020, and I believe that to be the actual start date for that particular event. And so if you need details for any of these, just go to Ultra Sign Up, and then you can look for these races by name, or you can do a zip code search. New Year's Cheers is coming up on Saturday, January 23rd, 2021. That is a 6-hour. For those of you that are not familiar, that means that you just keep going for 6 hours and see how many miles you can do in 6 hours. There's also a 5K and a 3-hour. So you just keep going for 3 hours, see how many miles you could do. The Bacoa Spring Fling. And by the way, that New Year's Cheers is in Volcano, Hawaii. Bacoa Spring Fling is on Saturday, February 20th, 2021. And that is a 50 kilometer and a 100 miler. If you're not familiar, 50K is, I believe, somewhere around 31 miles, I think. That's right. Something like that. It's around 30-ish miles. But yeah, Bacoa Spring Fling, February 20th. And that is in Ninole. I'm probably saying that wrong. If I am, sorry. Under the Moon is a 200 kilometer, 100 kilometer, and 50 kilometer. And that's going to be on Saturday, June 26, 2021. That's, pretty far out. But that's also showing Hilo as the city. I don't know if those are the actual start places for some of these cities that they've listed, or if that's just where the race director lives, or where the packet pickup is. So, but yep, that's it. There's 6, and that's actually pretty good considering the times, man. And I'm sure if you wanted to, you could get on Strava or you could get online. Probably social media has, social media, just generic. There's probably all kinds of quote unquote virtual races listed that you can pay good money to run a distance that you could have run anyway for free. But who am I to judge? Get your bling and post your selfies on social media and on Strava. I don't know. But so that's it. Those are the races, and then I will try to just do that every time. And so there was 1 whole ounce of utility out of this whole podcast. So with that out of the way, back to talking about running along Bayfront and the mask or actually, first, I'm going to tell you about yesterday's run along Beach Road. It was pretty good. So I think I expressed my disgust from my last run along Beach Road, where somebody, it looked like a contractor, had thrown out like all their demolition stuff in huge 40-gallon trash bags, like one about every 10 feet, all the way down Beach Road, like as far as I ran anyway, until I turned around. But yeah, so there was all kinds of these trash bags. But it looks like since then somebody has come and cleaned those up. So whoever did that, thanks a lot. Somebody also unfortunately went behind them and threw out a hot water heater and I think some more car parts. So there's some car engines down on Beach Road. If you're in the market for something like that, you can get them for completely free down on Beach Road. But anyways, okay. Other than that, yesterday surprisingly sunny. It's been raining, just sheets of rain, just prolific, amazing amounts of rain in Hilo for the last probably month, I guess I would have to say. It seems like it's been a month of nothing but just solid, continuous, hateful rain, which is great for the plants. It's horrible for your vitamin D levels and getting out to do activities, but the plants love it. Anyways, yesterday it cleared, it broke. We had a break in the pattern, and it was sunny out, and so it was warm and humid, and I got to go for a run along Beach Road, and there wasn't that many people out, so bonus. And yeah, there wasn't that many cars on Beach Road, and it wasn't dusty because all the ground was soaking wet. So that was cool, and I didn't step like ankle deep into mud puddle, but I'll tell you what did happen. Some cackjacker in a Tacoma sped up, like gassed it through a puddle, like a mud puddle, right? I was less than a mile from finishing up my run, and just splashed muddy water all over me. What a jerk. But, yeah, anyways, you gotta let stuff go, man. Other than that, great. And then I made it home precisely at the time that I wanted to, enough time to get it cleaned up, and then meet my friend that came over to have Thanksgiving dinner with me and my family. So that was cool. And then the rest of the day, we ate food and drank beers and watched a movie. And I had already seen it. I think it's called, what is the movie? Let me actually look it up. It's Andy Samberg. I think it's called Palm Springs. I think. Yes, it is. 2020 film, Palm Springs. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty funny. It's got that guy, J.K. Simmons, the Farmers Insurance, bald-headed guy. But yeah, the whole thing, hilarious. But I rewatched that and watched my friend laugh because it was the first time that he had seen it. And then we just shot the S word and noodled around on the guitar. And yeah, I fell asleep in the hammock watching some other show. I don't even remember what. So it was a good day. And my puppy dog, who's getting older, or is getting old, he was asleep in his little bed right next to me. So all in all, a good day. We had the fire going outside in the fire pit. I've got a bunch of ohia that I've cut down, you know, from the yard, and so you really can't move the stuff because it risks transporting rapid ohia death, the fungus or whatever that causes that. So I just cut it. We just use it for firewood on the fire pit. But anyways, I'm making this story way longer than it really needs to be. It was a good day, put it like that. So now, finally, I'll get back to the thing that I promised I was going to talk about. Mask wearing. It started off just as a courtesy because I felt horrible. As I mentioned, I think on the last podcast, running through Volcano National Park, and there was more people than I'm used to seeing there. Like, it's starting to sort of pick back up, at least the trail part. And I was kind of feeling a little bit guilty, a little bit ashamed that I didn't have a mask on for my running activities. And if you didn't catch the explanation as to why, the reason is it's gonna get soaking wet anyway, and so water is a excellent vector for all kinds of bacteria and viruses. Like they love wet stuff, and so if you're sweating and then you're like just blowing on a mask, all that moisture is going everywhere anyway, so it really negates the purpose of wearing the mask in the first place. So anyways, I didn't wear one for that reason, and because I just don't usually see that many people. Like it's not like it used to be a year ago. So, but more people, and then some of them were like horrified to see me coming down the trail with no mask on. And so I decided that from now on I will wear the mask just to comfort them or give them a false sense of security. Not because I don't believe that masks work. I believe that dry masks definitely work, but I don't think that wet masks do. Maybe I'm just stupid, but that's my thought. Anyways, so I started wearing masks when I run in populous areas or high traffic locales. So Bayfront qualifies for that, and I've just been wearing this little paper mask, like the disposable kind. And a couple things that I've learned while wearing a mask. They are useful. The first thing that they're useful for is if you got hot breath, right? If your breath stinks, okay, like you drink a lot of coffee and it's just yuck, and maybe you haven't brushed your teeth in a little bit, when you put that mask on, you're gonna know exactly where you stand, right? You start breathing heavy, you know what's up right away. Like, you know if you need to work on your oral hygiene or if you're good to go. And so I learned that lesson the hard way the first day that I wore a mask. It's not that I don't have good oral hygiene. I brush my teeth twice a day, every day. It's just that I guess on that particular day, the combination of things that I had eaten and the coffee that I had drank, my breath was hot, man. Like, it was just hot, stank breath. And having that mask on really opened my eyes to just how smelly my breath actually was. Sorry, I just bumped the microphone. But anyways, so that was a good teachable moment, and I've made sure to brush my teeth before I go running now, just so I don't have to deal with that. And so I'm sorry for anybody else that maybe had to deal with my rank breath ever in my life, because I never noticed that it was so stinky. Or it was that particular day. I hope that it's not on a regular basis. Today it didn't seem to be terrible. But so yeah, so that's one good thing that you can learn from a mask. I don't know if it works the same in the cloth masks as it does with the paper ones, but I was using a paper mask for this experiment. So that's number one. And then number two, I actually realized today, so when I'm running, one of the things that I try to do is I try to breathe through my nostrils exclusively. So, in other words, there's no, I don't expend enough effort to where I am inhaling and exhaling through my mouth. So I'll put an asterisk next to that statement and say, exhaling through the mouth is not quite as bad as inhaling through the mouth. You want to inhale through your nose. And so my understanding for the reason why is a couple things. Number one, you got nasal conchi, like spiral shaped physical attribute to the inside of your nose, and it kind of sucks air in that spiral and gets it nice and like humidified. Also, you got hairs in your nose that filter particulates out of the air that you're breathing in, and so filtration and humidification, and that's why you want to breathe through your nose. That's one reason. The other reason is sort of a not psychological, psychokinetic. I don't know. Big words confuse me, but it's breathing through your nose tends to not make you, I guess, agitated. Breathing through your mouth is actually, think of somebody when they're blowing in and out of the paper bag, like they're hyperventilating. What are they doing? They're breathing in and out through their mouth. And by the way, I think science has proven that that paper bag thing doesn't work. But what you can do to calm down, though, is you can breathe exclusively through your nose. I guess my understanding is that when you start breathing through your mouth, that actually sets off a sort of a panic mechanism. And so I guess your heart begins to beat faster, and then you start to move into like this anxiety, panic state. I don't know if I buy into this 100%, but Wim Hof is actually an interesting guy that does a lot of stuff with breathing. I had a friend recommend his book. It's been like 5 or 6 years ago, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But actually, his stuff does work, and I found that the breathing is super helpful to just reset, kind of. But my point is, check out Wim Hof. Check out breathing exercises that you can do. But breathing in and out through your nose is good. There's also another guy that is an advocate for breathing in and out through your nose is Laird Hamilton. He is a super big wave surfer that lives over on the island of Kauai, I believe. He's married to Gabrielle Reese, the volleyball player. I'm trying to find, I believe it's XRT. That's their program. They've got, XPT, I'm sorry. XPT, Extreme Performance Training. Part of that regimen is actually breathing, and I believe they advocate for breathing in and out of your nose too. But I would have to, I don't know for sure. I've heard Laird. I think it's Laird. Laird. I've heard Laird talk about it before. about breathing through the nose as opposed to the mouth. And so, how does this relate to the mask? Well, today, as predicted, the mask got super wet, right? It was saturated with water. And so, what happens when the mask gets saturated with water? It's no longer porous, it's got water all over it. And so, it just becomes like a, not a valve, but just a solid piece of whatever. You may as well have like a piece of rubber on the front of your face. And so you're breathing in and out through your nose, no problem, right? The mask sort of stays where it's supposed to because there's just not enough vacuum or suction breathing through your nostrils. I guess it's like evenly distributed and just not that much, and plus it's pointed straight down. But when I started breathing through my mouth, because sometimes I do that, sometimes I slip up, like especially after I drink from the bottle, like it might take me a minute to sort of like catch my breath back up, and so I'll sometimes breathe through my mouth just reflexively, like I don't even realize I'm doing it. So I had slapped my mask back on after I took a drink out of my bottle, and I was breathing through my mouth, and the mask just kept getting sucked into my mouth, and I thought, that's annoying. But then I started breathing through my nose, and the mask was fine. Like it didn't move in or out. So I came to realize that that little cheap paper mask is actually a good training tool for breathing in and out through your nose, because when you breathe through your mouth, you get like a big mouthful of mask, and you don't really get that much air. So it's like the same effect of having a plastic bag over your head or something when you're breathing through your mouth in and out. But you breathe in and out through your nose, no problem. So that was another good use for the mask. Sorry. I'm trying to like slip in a drink of water, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Sorry, I just don't want to make like a bunch of noise with me drinking and then like gulping water. I'm sure this is annoying enough for everybody, just hearing me talk for an hour. But anyways, so that was the cool thing, or two things that I found that make the mask useful. And so I don't know, I don't really need the mask, I don't guess, for those purposes. Like now that I'm aware that I should brush my teeth more and or more than 2 times a day, and that I mean, I'm already pretty self-aware with the breathing in and out of my mouth. I can rein that in without wearing the mask, but it's good to know. It's good to pass that information on. If you're having trouble with that, just wear a paper mask, and then that will help you learn to breathe in and out through your nose, which you should be anyway. Yeah. So I think I spent the last couple podcasts talking about like getting started, sort of, kind of, with running, or getting back into running, like with little aches and pains and what to expect, and then sort of what to do. And I forgot if I've mentioned this. Sometimes, or actually all the time, I'm really bad about being. I don't guess it's like empathy. I'm really bad about taking for granted. I guess like the progress. Like, I don't want to like sound pretentious. I'm trying to word this so like I'm bad at taking for granted like the fact that I've been running a pretty good while, and so there's things that I don't experience that people that are new to running are going to experience, as far as like aches and pains and questions to have no answer, seemingly. And so a lot of the answers that you get with running, you get through time, and it's kind of little epiphanies that you have based off of trial and error and experience. And so I'm fortunate to have been able to run long enough to get to a point where I know what works for me and what doesn't. And so everybody that's listening to this, you'll have to do the same thing. But there are some things that you can sort of do that are kind of universal to help. And one of the things that I neglected to mention, I believe, I've said it before, but I don't think I mentioned it in the context of the most recent two podcasts that I've done on sort of getting started. But one of the things that I always do to get started on a run, because I do run quite frequently, and I've got a bad problem with not really wanting to get started. And so I do this for two reasons. I start each run off with a walk for two reasons. Number one, it's good for the body, right? It gives you some adjustment time, kind of like lets the synovial fluid slosh around, everything get sort of like lubed up, limber, stretched out, whatever. Just a teeny little bit, like warmed up. And then also, it's a nice little trick that you play on your mind, that you're making your brain and I guess your body think that you're just going to go for a little walk, right? And then you go ahead and surprise it with starting to run. So for me, I usually anywhere from a quarter of a mile to half a mile. I will begin each run with a walk. And it's not like a slow walk. It's kind of like a walk with a purpose, right? It's not a power walk. Like this is not your 60-year-old grandma or whatever power walking with a sun visor and velour sweats. This is not that. It's somewhere in between that and just a brisk walk, right? And so that's what I do. And I'll do that for, like I say, a quarter of a mile to a half a mile. And it seems a little excessive, but a whole half a mile just walking. But you know what? It goes by pretty fast. And I find, especially in Hawaii, that's one of the benefits of being in such a humid and hot environment, is that sweat starts to accumulate pretty quick. And so, of course, results may vary. It depends on your body. But for me, that magic place where I've got enough, this is going to sound gross, but it is what it is. When I've got enough sweat, like in the frictional parts of my body, like the armpits, etc. When I've got enough sweat to kind of like loosen that up a little bit, is right around that half mile mark. And it's so much better to start running than to like rub your dry arms, like already be chafed right from the gate. Right from the jump. So half a mile walking usually works for me. And two, there's a thing that happens like when you run, you don't typically appreciate the environment that much. I mean, not as much as if you're just like casually walking and turning your head and looking around. There's things that I've not seen while I was running, then I stop and look around, and it's like, how did I miss that? You know? So yeah, start off each activity with a little walk. Okay, and I think I mentioned stretching, and I mentioned the two yoga poses that I like to do, but that I don't know the names of, but they're highly effective. Um, but yeah, definitely start each run off with a walk. That's helpful for me, at least. Um, and I don't have a whole lot more. If you didn't know, AC/DC has a new album, and I really like it. It's called Power Up, and it sounds like every other AC/DC album, but that's kind of what I like about them. They're pretty consistent. Like you sort of know what you're in for when you listen to an AC/DC record. But anyway, so they've got a new one, and I like it. It's cool, and so I thought I would share that with everybody. Kids, ask your parents before you start listening to AC/DC. Everybody else, you should definitely check out Power Up. They've got it. It's on Spotify, of course, but good stuff. I like it. I'm going to Volcano tomorrow, I believe, if everything goes as planned. My friend is going to ride his bike down Chain of Creators Road, and I'm going to be the get back up guy. So while he's riding his bike from, I guess, the park entrance down Chain of Creators Road, I am going to drive down and park to kind of the trailhead for the Petroglyphs Trail. And then I'm going to go, I think, the opposite direction. I'm either going to do the escape road, or I'm going to go out along the coastal trail, like opposite of Petroglyphs, and run out there. It just depends on, what the weather is looking like, and what kind of time I'm looking at. I'm not really sure how long it's going to take him to bike down Chain of Creators Road. He may actually, he may slide down portions of that. Hopefully not, but it's seems like it would be a pretty exciting ride. I like to take things slow. I've actually run up it, not all of it, but a good portion of it, and I don't remember. I've run up and down, portions of it, and one thing that I recall, and I've said this before, is it's a road. So I hate running on roads because cars, right? It's not super good for your joints either, because all that compaction, or there's no compaction, and all the shock is going into your body, and then also it's hotter. It's not more hotter, it's just hotter, because the sun's beating off the asphalt right back on you, and then the cars are danger tubes going down the road. So, and then people don't pay attention, especially out there. Like, it's not even better right now with no tourists. Okay, and nothing against tourists. Tourists are human beings, and I don't shun you. We're all kind of tourists. Like, we're just tourists in the world. Nobody's here permanently. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, what I'm trying to say is that when people come here and they're not used to being here, it's super exciting because Hawaii is beautiful. It's a lovely place. So people get kind of like caught up in that, and they forget that you have to like drive safely, or you can't take the selfie or not selfie. You can't take like the panoramic scenery, the picture of the vista, like while you're driving. Like, you have to actually stop, and so they're not paying attention to the pedestrian or the bicyclist or whatever, and so it's what's the word? Not disturbing. It is disturbing if you're the runner or the pedestrian or the biker, but it's distressing to be on the road um, in the park or anywhere when there's somebody that's driving that's not paying attention or otherwise. So generally I try to stay off the roads. I got nothing against roads or drivers. It's just runners, walkers, stuff like that. I just don't, yeah, I don't think that they should go on the road, but that's just me. How do I do this? How do I get into my soapbox about a factual story, like an objective fact that we're probably going to volcano, my friend's going to ride his bike down. Yeah, I don't know. I get off on tangents, but yeah, so hopefully that goes really well and he'll like going down that hill. It's a big old hill. And yeah, so that's the plan. So I'm looking forward to either overcast, maybe slightly rainy day, and sort of like watching my step on some lava rock or down on a big old long gravel road if I go through the evacuation route. Hopefully it won't be thundering. I think they got some thunder and lightning. I may be wrong, but it's just what the weather was saying for, I think, yesterday up in Volcano. But supposedly it's going to be sunny on Saturday and then also again on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. It gets so hot out there when there's no cloud cover. So I'm hoping it's not that kind of hot. But I'm going to bring plenty of sunscreen and plenty of water. I actually thought about, I don't know why I've never thought about this before, but it would be great to do kind of like a self, what's the word? Like or what's the phrase? Like a self aid station run, like just have park your vehicle in a central location and then just do a bunch of trails and then have like a couple pizzas or something like in your truck and then a bunch of like ice and everything you'd need, everything you'd find at the aid station, and then just do like some kind of crazy big figure eight type thing to where you would end up at your quote unquote aid station every like 10 miles or something like that. I don't know if you could find like the configuration of trails to do that, sort of switch it up. That would be cool. I don't think, sorry, I'm getting tired. I don't think I'm going to do that for tomorrow because my friend will be there. I don't want to keep him waiting. But yeah, so going to do that. And then I would like to get back up Mauna Kea. I would like to run on Mountain Road again. So who knows? Maybe that is in the cards for Sunday, but we'll see. But yeah, so I don't know how long this is gone because the little recorder tape, it's not scrolling. So it looks like we're not even to 2000. If I remember correctly, 2000 is around, because it's going by beats. I think you can change it. Yeah, you can change its time. There we go. So 54 minutes and 15 seconds. We've done this. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I'm tired. Actually, the other reason too, and I thought I would mention this, there is a new series on Showtime, and it's got John C. Reilly, Fred Armisen, and then another person. I forgot who the other person is. Oh yeah, Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Uh, Moonbase 8. I think that it's kind of like an answer to the Steve Carell. What was the one on Netflix? Space Force. So it looks interesting. I'm a big fan of John C. Reilly. My first introduction to him really was in Step Brothers, and then I kind of started watching a bunch of other stuff that he was in prior to that. And so I think Walk Hard, if I'm not mistaken, Walk Hard came out before Step Brothers. I could be wrong on that, but I had never seen Walk Hard. Holy crap. Like, I've never laughed so much in my life watching Walk Hard. You couldn't even make that movie today, and it's not even that old of a movie, but you could never get away with it. It was hilarious though. And then of course, like Step Brothers, I own that movie. I got it on DVD, and I will watch it still, like every time it's on TV or whatever streaming service or whatever. I love that movie. But anyways, I'm gonna cut this off, and then maybe I'll do another one sometime this weekend. But yeah, so hopefully some part of this was helpful for you. I have got the Reddit channel, the subreddit set up. So it's r/runnin thought, and that's RUNNIN with no G, because I'm edgy. A Runnin thought, and that's on Reddit. And so that one you can put whatever you want on it, but I mainly set it up just so there was a more popular forum for people to post questions or comment suggestions, whatever. Don't troll, because I won't read those, and I don't really care about your trolling type opinions. But I'm definitely always interested in like how I can add value or be of some assistance to people that are just starting out or are interested in running. How I can help you not make the same silly mistakes that I made, and I'm sure a lot of other people do starting out. Marketing is a hell of a drug. A lot of people get fished in. I was definitely one of those people, but yeah, I try to cut through the BS and just give advice that people can use. And so, if there's any questions that you have, ask me, and I want to help you be the best runner that you can be, and also feel good and feel good about yourself. Yep. So yeah. So go to Reddit and check that out. Leave some comments or whatever. If you want to be on the podcast, then let me know too. Even if you don't run, but you're just interested in it, I mean, I think it's good to have kind of an eclectic variety of people on the podcast, so that everybody's sort of represented, and there's opportunity for discussion on like all different kinds of levels. So that's my goal. That's my dream. So if you're interested in joining me, then please do. If you're on Big Island or just in the islands in general, it would be awesome to talk to you just as a person, but then also to have you on the podcast too, to get some more insight, because I'm sure that there's people out there that know way more about good trails and good tips and stuff than just me, just my little knowledge. Also too, I'll just give a shout out to Dr. Michael Garrison over on Oahu. I just got a little ping on my watch. It looks like his company, Hawaii Running Lab. Also, before I'm well, let me just mention this first. So Hawaii Running Lab, he is doing the Mele Kalikimaka Marathon 5K, 10K, and you can go to his website. That's going to be November 18th through December 15th. Runners will have until December 31st to upload their results. And so you can go to his website. It's hawaiirunninglab.com, I do believe. I don't think it's got the address, but yeah, go check that out. It's virtual races, but he's a good guy, and I've actually paid for his good advice, and you can too. You know, all the times that I say on this podcast, all the times where I say you should consult an expert, that is an expert. That's a good guy to consult. So please look up Hawaii Running Lab. Even if you don't live in Hawaii, that's a great guy to talk to about any kind of questions, injuries, diet, running programs, whatever. Talk to him. He's a really nice guy, and he knows his stuff. So Hawaii Running Lab, and then at the very least, you can get some pretty cool gear to wear out on the road or the trail, and you can maybe join a virtual race if you want to do that too. But yeah, I forgot if there was anything else that I wanted to mention, but yeah. So I guess I'll end this there, because my other dog is getting antsy, and she's telling me that it's time to cut it out, and I want to watch this Moonbase 8. I think I was mostly just talking about John C. Reilly at this point anyway, but yeah. I hope that you have a good weekend, and I'll do another one of these soon, maybe before the weekend's out. But yeah, get out there and do some walking, trick your body into some running, and be nice to each other, and stay safe. Talk to you next time.